A massive thank you to Walker, Joe, KCO and Viaten for subscribing to the channel. If you want to get featured in these little clips, make sure you subscribe down below.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 14 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. If you missed out on yesterday's video, apologies, it did go up very late last night. It was also stuck in 360p for a very long time because YouTube as well. But we are back here today, ready for round 14 of the year here from the Singapore Grand Prix. We have hopefully got another couple of upgrades going on the car as well as we head into this weekend. But can we apply any more upgrades in the works at the moment? I don't think we can, in all honesty. Not on the chassis side of things. Any more aero upgrades? We can do the front wing adjuster bracket. That should be done ready for COTA. Anything else we can do? We've already got a couple of upgrades going on, I think, to be honest. We can probably... surely there's a durability upgrade we can do somewhere. We can do either that... oh, no, we can do both of those, I suppose. A 32% failure chance. That was not great at this stage of the year. And that is department capacity reached once again there. So we've currently got 6 upgrades in the works once more. There you can see Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri have made a bit of progress this weekend. Let's see if we can get the redesigned brake ducts on the car.
We've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Perfect. So that should bring us a little bit closer once again. Still no news about actually whether we're going to see any rule changes for next year, of course. That might get confirmed this weekend. Who really knows? But we got 1.06 million in the bank as well. I don't think that means we can do any upgrades still at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, or no worthwhile ones as well then. No, not by the looks of it. But anyway, we'll head into this weekend then, and we'll try... oh, we could do second driver's experience stat will increase slightly. We'll go with that, we may as well. So now we've got $64,000 in the bank. Let's dive in to the Singapore Grand Prix. Right, heading around the final couple of corners then to start our first practice program. Always a bit weird doing the early free practice programs here at Singapore because, of course, you've still got a little bit of sun around the circuit as well. But I must admit, this track does look stunning on the F1 games. Has done for a very long time now as well. It really is a good graphics showcase of what F1 2021 can do. But fingers crossed this weekend. There is the threat of rain on Sunday. I don't really want that round here. Of course, Singapore already the biggest endurance on the Formula 1 calendar as it is. So yeah, the threat of rain as well certainly makes this place very interesting. But we'll try and get through the weekend. You know, might be a good chance if there's a bit of carnage, as that is not the line through there. Yeah, if there's a bit of carnage, we might stand a good chance this weekend, but of course we'll wait and see. It must be really weird living in Singapore on a Grand Prix weekend, because I mean, at the moment, it's Friday night. Say you've just finished work, about to go home, and there's just Formula 1 Grand Prix cars just tearing around like you're downtown. Must be very strange. I'll be honest with you guys. I'd love to go to the Singapore Grand Prix one day as well, just for the atmosphere as much as anything else, but we'll wait and see in the future as well here. But yeah, I must admit though, this track probably one of the most momentum-based circuits on the calendar. You've really got to have supreme confidence in the car and in the setup here, and generally early on the F1 games, your car's not the most stable craft in the world, so we might struggle this weekend as well, of course. The AI obviously just sort of work around it a lot better than I personally can. I don't know whether that's due to my driving style or what, but yeah, can always be a little bit of a struggle early on in the game. Singapore has also been another track that's pretty evil to me on the F1 games as well in the past, whether it be badly timed safety cars, horrendous weather, or what, as we just nudged the wall there. That was a little bit close for comfort through the penultimate corner. Again, just skimming the wall on the exit there, really pushing the limits already, and it's only FP1 at the final corner though. It's going to be a green score first lap.
What we asked for. Keep it up.
Let's just try and bag the purple and get into qualifying. Definitely starting to get into the groove a bit more with the car. I think the steering rack's always changed ever so slightly around Singapore as well, but yeah, I think we're getting there with the car ready for qualifying. So we ran the final chicane of the lap down under the motorway. Using up all the exit curb once again and in through the final corner. Yeah, we're a good 8 tenths up now, in fact, as we head out the final turn. That's pretty good.
You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up.
We'll let Danny Rick pass back down towards turn 1, but let's dive into qualifying then here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Here we are then, back at the night race here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Second time, actually, we've got to see the car in the dark this year, and I must admit, the orange really does pop when the sun goes down here. But we'll see what happens in qualifying this weekend. Like I said, not too optimistic here. It's never been my greatest track in the world, and qualifying pace, the AI really do seem to be able to get everything out of it lap after lap there. Sonoda already down onto a 36.0. I think, yeah, if we can out-qualify Schwartzman, I think that could probably be the main aim ready for this weekend. Round in the final couple of corners then, to finish off our first lap. Hasn't been the best lap in the world, but hasn't been bad either by any stretch. It's a 35.3? Quicker than Sonoda, only a tenth off Alonso. I'll take that so far. I mean, times are obviously going to improve still, but that's a pretty decent banker in the end, accidentally. Heading back out there right at the end of the session, and you can see... Thanks, Jeff. You can see we are right on the cusp at the moment, so I'm going to go out for one more lap so we can find a little bit more time in the car. And fingers crossed we can get back into Q2 here. Obviously, it was a bit disappointing not to make Q2 last time out of Russia. Just missed out by less than a tenth of a second in the end, so it would be nice to make a return this weekend. If we do make it through as well, luckily, we've got a spare set of tyres ready for Q2 as well, so hopefully we can try and elevate ourselves a little bit further up the order as we head out onto the Raffles Boulevard. Mazepin's gone quicker than us, so there's no doubt about it. We will probably end up in the drop zone, hopefully only for a brief period though, in this qualifying session as Esteban Ocon just in front of us here. Hopefully Esteban gets out of the way. Already a couple of tenths up there. That's going to throw away a little bit of time though as we head through Sector 2. Thank you, Ocon, at last. Nudging the wall on the exit there, but still a tenth and a half up. Round in the final couple of corners, though, here of our second run. We're going to be 3 tenths up as we cross the line. That's going to be P14 at the end of the session there. Rather happy with that one, I'll be honest. Let's see what we can do in Q2 then. So, big surprise then, really. Yuki Tsunoda down in P19 at the end of the session there. But, I mean, we're pretty much on pace with the Aston Martins and the Alpine here of Esteban Ocon as well. So, maybe, just maybe, points might be another possibility this weekend there, as we did go 9 thousandths quicker than at Kimi Räikkönen. Now, I'm pretty certain that's Mazepin's first Q2 appearance of the year as well, but Schwartzman was a second slower than me at the end of the session there. No idea what happened to our teammate, why he was so slow at the end of qualifying. A little bit gutted to see that one. But anyway, yeah, let's dive into Q2. We'll only get the one run. Hopefully we can try and push ourselves as high up the order as possible. Right, heading out then for our one and only Q2 run. Kimi and Mazepin are slightly down on their times from Q1, so fingers crossed if we can pretty much match it. Might be one of our best qualifying sessions of the year. Obviously, we've had quite a few Q2 appearances, but a lot of them we then haven't been able to do a run in the second set because, of course, we've shredded the tyres. Oh, a little bit wide through turn 1. That was not great. So we head out off the first sector, or the first couple of corners, out towards the Raffles Boulevard. Don't let that mistake through the first corner ruin us. Mazepin, I think, is running about half a second slower than we did in Q1 there, so there's no excuse for not being able to beat the Russian driver. So we get towards the end of the braking zone. Really got to try and launch it over the curbs there. Make this track, like most Grand Prix circuits, as wide as possible. And try and get as close to the walls. We'll find you the time. That was a little bit scrappy as well there. It's not been the best first half of that. Heading down in towards Sector 3 though. Pretty much everyone else has found a lot more time on their Q1 run. So definitely no chance of any ridiculous Q3s or anything like that in this session. Only really can manage that if there's changeable conditions here on F1 2021 so far. Getting very, very close to the wall under the stadium section. Well, not stadium, you know what I mean. In through the final couple of turns though. Not been the best lap in the world, I'll be honest. Think we've overdriven the car ever so slightly. Round in the final corner though. What's it gonna be? It's a 35.2. I think that's P15 in the end, unless Mazepin's found more. It's There we go. Hamilton fastest on a set of medium tyres there. That was ridiculous pace from the Mercedes team. But yeah, we do go P15 in the end. Couple of tenths off Kimi. We probably should have beaten him. But definitely, I mean, unless we'd absolutely nailed the lap, we might just have beat Ocon there. But not too surprised with P15 at the end of the session. Pretty happy with that, I'll be honest. Gives us a good springboard ready for the Grand Prix. There's still the threat of rain. It looks like it might appear later on, though. Let's dive in to the Singapore Grand Prix.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Lando Norris, and Perez, Vettel, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Raikkonen, Mr. Monaco, and Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Max Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Tsunoda, Russell, Latifi, and Robert Schwartzman. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Right, here we are then, on the grid, ready for round 14 of the year. Here from the Singapore Grand Prix, and like I said, the threat of rain looms right towards the end of this one, but of course this is F1. Things can change very, very quickly here. We've got Ricciardo and Verstappen with penalties a bit further behind as well, so we'll wait and see what happens to those guys early on in the Grand Prix. But yeah, just want to keep our head down, keep the front wing clean. 31 laps here of Singapore. It's going to be a long old race here tonight, but let's just dive right into it then. Round 14 of the year, we are really now stepping towards the end game. 5 red lights, and it is a very long hold, but it is lights out, and away we go. Oh, avoid the wheel spin. Apparently not there. Ricciardo leaps off down towards turn 1. We're trying to look back around the outside though of our fellow orange car rival. So we head through the first couple of corners there. We both got the jump on Kimi. So we head out the first sector there as Kimi's actually got a set of hard tyres at the start of this Grand Prix. Trying just to keep it alongside Ricciardo as best as possible here. But now we'll see the Mercedes power unit romp away as we head down the Raffles Boulevard there. Danny Rick, I'm afraid to cut in front of me as we get towards the end of the straightaway there. There's a little bit of contact on the exits. Oh, Ricciardo, man, come on. This is getting a little bit too choppy at the start of the Grand Prix. And after what happened at Monza, I'm going to change that straight to no. I better not forget to change that if we do lose the front wing now. But the car is absolutely fine at the start of this race. It's been a clean, tidy start though. Ocon and Gasly having a bit of a ding-dong as well as held them both up there as Giovinazzi's made good progress early on to move himself under P15. Down around the outside of the Australian. We'll try and compromise his run on the exit. Power down. Let's have a bit of a drag race with Danny Rick then, and we have actually got the better momentum. So we head down in towards the next corner. Back up the inside we go. And you guys know me, I'm a fighter on F1. And yeah, we're actually battling, yeah, Ricciardo and Gasly again, just like we did last time around at Russia. Just a bit worried we might be overdriving the car early on in this Grand Prix, but I don't really want to be stuck behind Gasly if he's on a set of hard tyres. Oh, we just about get the nose at the inside. Very, very aggressive move in the end there. Apologies.
Nice move.
Team are happy with it though, so I guess we'll take it. But yeah, Gasly on those hards. Feel like we have got slightly better pace than him early on. Oh, a little bit of understeer there. Nudge the wheels against the wall. But now, hopefully we can settle down. P11 though, again. How often are we going to run P11 in these Grand Prix? I made a minor front wing adjustment ready for the start of this Grand Prix, and it has made such a difference early on in this stint there. We're not even losing any time to Alonso and Ocon at the moment. The gap hovering at around the 1 second mark as well, though, which is absolutely wonderful to see early on in the race. Not too sure what it's going to do to the front tyres later on, but I'm feeling really confident early on here. Ricciardo is slowly closing us back in, though. But yeah, Gasly is just dropping away and causing a big train behind him, I'm sure. As Verstappen's still sat in about P17, I think. Getting a little bit close to these guys. I'm not too sure I want to be stuck in the dirty air this much early on in this Grand Prix. Stroll's on a set of softs, so I think the reason we've closed it to these guys is he's really struggling on that worn set of rubber. There we go, Lance Stroll into the pits at the end of the lap. Now we'll wait and see whether the Alpines do romp away a little bit, but it is going to push us into the points.
Keep it up.
Team should be happy with that one. But yeah, to be honest, it was Alonso a bit of a mistake through turn 1. That's going to leave him vulnerable to his teammate Ocon here. Yeah, not too sure we really want to be stuck in this much dirt. Yeah, it might just be worth hovering around a second and a half back and just working our race from there. As you can see, Ocon really struggled on the exit out onto the Raffles Boulevard once again. But, I mean, us and Alpine, yeah, could be in a really, really strong position here once all the top guys do make their stops, but it's about picking and choosing our battles. Here we go, a couple more into the pits at the end of lap 6 there. Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez up at a 7th now. Ocon, I don't think, is going to get any DRS on Alonso here as well, so we'll see if we can get a bit of a run on Esteban in this Grand Prix as we head back down onto the Raffles Boulevard. Yeah, Alonso really has been able to romp away there. Ocon aware of it, though. Oh, late on the brakes. Completely locked the rears, though, on the way in.
Nice work, that brings you up a place.
The team is saying that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to knock it, but... We're having the place, I've decided. Normally I give it back, but not around Marina Bay. I'm taking any opportunity I can get early on. Already at 1/3 race distance here in Singapore.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the hards. We're leading our teammate by 21.2 seconds.
We're pulling out 2 seconds a lap over our teammate here. I mean, he's stuck in traffic, but still, that's a bit ridiculous. This early on in the Grand Prix. Ocon has pulled away a bit, but Alonso even has pulled away a bit, but I think Ocon might still be struggling here in this Grand Prix. He's holding off Ricciardo, but he is losing a bit of time to myself here, as we're definitely shredding the rubber early on here, starting to get a little bit more slip from the rear end and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, just got to get to the pit window. I think it's scheduled for about lap 12, lap 13 I want to say, and then we'll work the rest of the race from there, see where we're at and play it by there. Oh, there we go, we've got the first of the Ferraris and Mercs into the pits at the end of lap 10. End of lap 11.
In this lap, push now.
Team want us in at the end of this one, but Hamilton is going to come out on another set of mediums here. So, not too sure what Mercedes have got planned, whether they're going to try and go medium, medium, soft at the end of the Grand Prix, or medium, medium, hard. But technically now, yeah, we're in a straight fight with Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix. Yeah, guessing Mercedes didn't think the hard would do 20 laps, but we're going to be trying it. And yeah, we're going to probably be boxing at the end of this one. So we head now down through Sector 3. I'm just trying to work out whether we'll get ahead of the Haas car that is currently holding up that massive train. I'm going to guess it's Nikita Mazepin in this Grand Prix. Haas had brilliant qualifying pace, but still don't think they've quite got the race pace that they're after at this stage of the game. But as we head down through the final chicane once more, ready to dive into the pit lane. I would have thought Alonso's coming in front. Yes, he is. A little bit sketchy on the way in. Make sure we get slowed down nice and tidy. There we go, into the pits. Our front wing's still set to no, luckily. And yeah, hopefully now we can try and stay ahead of that huge, huge train of cars here. We'll hold up Alonso just a little bit as well. But as we head back out of the pit lane, the Alfa Romeo is going to fly past there. Kimi, of course, on his hards.
Go, go, go.
1.9, that's exactly what we needed in this situation. Here comes Lando Norris as well, but are we going to get out ahead of the Haas? Nice and tidy. Try and limit the wheel spin on the way out of the pits. And then keep it tidy between the white lines. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. Sergio Perez tries to have a look around the outside there, but we do hold on. Far more importantly, ahead of Nikita Mazepin in this Grand Prix. We've lost a little bit of time to Fernando just up the road, but we're still in P9 at this stage of the day. And remember, we're now going to the end, and there's still a few cars up the road that aren't. So we are definitely in the hunt for points here, as long as we can keep it clean and tidy. the other Alpine of Esteban Ocon into the pits at the end of lap 13 there, so we will move back onto P8.
14.8 seconds.
I don't think that's quite right, Jeff, I'll be honest. But yeah, now we've got Perez right behind us. There is Schwartzman, our teammate, dives it in.
Robert is coming in for his stop.
I don't really want to hold up Perez in this Grand Prix because, again, there's just no real need to, but I also don't want to lose much time battling with him. Of course, we're just trying to now get to the end of the race in the quickest time possible. But yeah, really not too sure what to do about Sergio right behind us. Just notice as well, Lando and Fernando just in front of us, Nando and Fernando, are both actually on a set of mediums again there, so they're going to have to pit again in this race. As Kimi's now holding up Fernando. At the very least there in his Alfa Romeo. If we can get back past him before he pits, that would be rather good, or at least right up to him. Can't be long before Kimi's going to pit in this Grand Prix. But yeah, it amazes me none of these guys are trying the one-stop out. So many guys who would be clear-cut in the points and probably have the tyre life to get to the end, no issues. All still trying the two-stop. Raikkonen has now been dispatched by Fernando Alonso in front of us. So we will be the next man trying to hunt Kimi down. All over the back of Kimi Raikkonen as we head on to lap 17 now of this Grand Prix. Hopefully the Finn isn't going to fight us all too much as we'll go to the inside through the Raffles Boulevard. And there we go, up now into P7 once more.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
To be honest, I think no safety car is better than a safety car for us at this stage of the Grand Prix. Don't know where that incident was though. It's situations like this where Red Bull's lack of top-end speed really does hurt them on F1 2021 there. Raikkonen is able to defend down the Raffles Boulevard ahead of Perez there, and Sergio's lost about 3 seconds to me in the space of a lap and a half. Really not ideal, but works for me. I'm not complaining. Oh, Lando Norris into the pits. Start lap 20. So we're now into P6 of this Grand Prix. And look at that, Sainz as well at the road, also on a set of mediums. We might be close to battling him at the end after he's made his final stop.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Oh, less than 10 to go, and the team are recommending new strategies. What's this going to be? Yeah, I thought it was going to be put onto another set of mediums. The hards don't feel perfect, but they do feel fine. And to be honest, I think track position is far more important around here today.
Copy.
Oh, I've accidentally gone with the new strategy. Oh well, yeah, no, we're going to go to the end on these hards, or at least we're going to try to. The wear's been pretty low. Definitely feel like I've overcooked him in a couple of times, though. But we've just got the likes of Ocon and Ricciardo taking a second a lap out of me at this stage of the day. Of course, Ocon's got to pit again. Same with Alonso just in front, so our battles might be with the McLarens at the end. But I think we might just have enough in the tank, as long as we don't do anything stupid. Alonso's really extended this second medium stint in this Grand Prix. The same for Ocon. Obviously, they can't go to the end, otherwise they'll get DQ'd. But yeah, been really surprised by that. There we go, one of the Ferraris and Mercs into the pits. That'll be Charles Leclerc. And I think Valtteri Bottas, I want to say, in this Grand Prix. Are we going to see Alonso follow them in? And they are going on to a set of soft compound tyres, so they're going to be mighty fast to the end of the Grand Prix there. So Alonso might still be a threat right in the dying stages here of the Singapore Grand Prix. Out of the final corner, though, we are now going to move ourselves up into P5 of this race. It really has gone our way so far today here, and now we've got to try and bring this thing home through the final 7 laps. Sainz is heading back down the rest of the pit lane now. I think, yeah, the Ferrari is still going to come out in front of us in this Grand Prix. Is he actually? There is Carlos Sainz as we head back down towards turn 1. Don't think we're really going to have much to be able to defend him from, but we do move up into P4, albeit just for a moment here in the Singapore Grand Prix. The Ferrari is instantly going to come back at us, though. We're not. There's no point for us at this stage of the day. We don't even get the DRS on him, though. But yeah, Sainz is going to rump off into the distance one more there. Ricciardo and Lando now 11 seconds back, so unless Ricciardo lets Lando through, they're not closing up to me by the end of this one. This could be a massive turning point for us in this series, and to be honest, I'm not really sure how it's happened today. Everything's just fallen into place up to now. We've been really lucky, the strategy's been good, the cars felt wonderful as well, right from the get-go. It's all fallen into place at Singapore, and we're just a few laps away from reaping the rewards. 3 laps to go here from Singapore. The Mercs are lapping about 5 seconds faster than me at this stage of the Grand Prix, as we're not exactly far off our PB still. There, Ricciardo, Norris and Fernando Alonso all trying to close in as well on us, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do enough between now and the end of the Grand Prix. this could be a race we look at down the line if we end up in a position where we're winning World Championships, where we think this is what started it all.
Monitoring somewhere on the ICE, be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Fingers crossed that's not a big issue. Obviously, we had that momentary scare last time out of Russia. How bad is the ICE? It should be 60, I'm going to guess. No, only 55. That's fine, Jeff. Stop your worrying. Oh, we got yellow flags out.
Teammate behind is 59.9 seconds.
That's rather worrying as well, but it is, I think, one of the Williams falling to the wayside with less than 2 to go here from Singapore. George Russell out of the Grand Prix.
It looks like they're retiring.
I think that's an engine failure. Having a look then from the Williams, yeah, it looks like a pretty standard engine failure. Hasn't blown up though, weirdly enough. So I'm not too sure what's happened there to poor George Russell, but that is a heartbreaking way to end this Grand Prix. Starting the final lap then here of the Singapore Grand Prix. And I mean, what more can we say today apart from what a race it has been here at Marina Bay. Mercedes have absolutely dominated this one once again. I think it is going to be Hamilton that takes home the race victory this weekend as they look close now to wrapping up the Constructors' Championship as well. I think theoretically they could do it next time out, I want to say, in Japan as well, but obviously we'll wait and see about that a bit further down the line. We'll do the maths when we cross the finish line as well for those guys. But I said in the last episode,
The car in front is 18.6 seconds.
I said in the last episode, just the pace. We just needed a few more upgrades on the car, and the pace would hopefully come to us, so at least we could fight the midfield. I didn't expect one race later for us to be top of the midfield runners at the end of the Singapore Grand Prix. You know, Ferrari have been very, very strong around a few tracks this year. They're really able to give Mercedes a run for their money as well, which has been brilliant to see. But Lewis Hamilton does come through to win the Singapore Grand Prix. They further extend his championship gap to Valtteri Bottas behind him. They're 2 in a row for the Brit as well there after Valtteri really starting to close down the points earlier on this year there. Charles Leclerc is going to come through for P3 ahead of Carlos Sainz in 4th there. But Ricciardo, Norris and Fernando Alonso all still taking masses of time out of us on the final lap of this Grand Prix, but with just a few more corners left to navigate, I had no idea what to expect in this Grand Prix. When I saw the potential of rain, I got really, really worried as well. But in towards the final couple of corners here of the Singapore Grand Prix, there are all the fireworks. Round in the final corner, it's going to be by far and away our best result of the year. P5 at the end of the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's have it.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Well, Crofty, Daniel Ricciardo would have to be my driver of the day. It's less about what he did right, but how little he did wrong. Perfect driving.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Singapore Grand Prix, and it is Lewis Hamilton that takes home another race victory there. Bottas, though, with the fastest lap, does take a, 6-point gap. Isn't too bad as we head in towards Japan next time out there. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, they're your top 4 on the grid, finishing top 4 at the end of the race there. Not too sure how Ricciardo finessed driver of the day over me, considering he's got a much faster car, and we did exactly the same strategy. as well there. So, come on, where's the driver of the day in for ourselves there? Lando does come through for P7, head of Alonso, Stroll, and Sergio Perez there, as Verstappen just didn't make inroads at all during that Grand Prix, down in P14 there. Sebastian Vettel, an unlucky day as well, down in 13th, and you can see Pierre Gasly down in 16th, stuck at the back of that train there. Our teammate Schwartzman actually ended up getting lapped in that race as well, which is rather disappointing to see. And of course, George Russell still classified, but didn't make it to the end of the Grand Prix. They're very, very disappointing for him. Championship-wise, though, 22 now, the gap at the top of the standings as we head in towards the final 6 races of the year. Does now officially mean it is only Charles Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Bottas and Hamilton that can wrap up the world title at this stage of the year. There are 156 points available, so Sergio Perez, you are out of it, my friend there. But still a massive battle going on for P3 overall. They're really all the way down from Ricciardo down to Sergio, still in contention there. Leclerc gets the jump on Perez, though. Sainz gets the jump on Stroll. Alonso gets the jump on Gasly, and we actually get the jump on Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda there after that mega result as well, elevating us up into P13 of the World Championship there. Constructors-wise, no changes, though. Again, with 6 races to go, the maximum points is 266, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think Mercedes, if my maths hasn't failed me, I think Mercedes only need another... No, 264 points, sorry. I think Mercedes, yeah, only need another 3 points in the final 5 races, or final 6 races of the year, sorry, and they will be Constructors' Champions there. Red Bull can't do it. It is only McLaren this year, as while there are Constructors-wise, Alpine pull a little bit away from AlphaTauri as well. There's, yeah, we further cement ourselves in P8 overall. It's going to take a miracle for one of the other backmarker teams to close up that gap now. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and yeah, we'll be back tomorrow ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss it.
None of these videos could be possible without the support of our channel members, so a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick, Chuan and David Bennett for becoming channel members. You can join them and be featured in these end clips by clicking the join button down below.